Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, My Social Thread. My name's Crystal, and today we are joined by Judi, who is running So and So on Instagram. She also has an amazing YouTube channel where she has more than 2,000 followers. Hello Judi, how are you?
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
And finally we get this.
Indeed.
How long have we been trying to do this?
I don't think I've spoken to you. Well, this isn't in person, but I don't think I've spoken to you face to face at all. We've just been messaging, haven't we?
We've just been messaging, but I mean, it must have been March when you first suggested this to me.
Yeah, and when did we get the Jenny Stitches blogging thing together? When was that? I can't even remember.
Probably about the same time, actually.
Same time.
Coincided.
Yeah.
And we finally got around to doing it.
Indeed. Well, as you know, Judi, this is a sewing channel. So my first question for you is the general, most elaborate question. How and when did you first start sewing?
Right. Are you ready for this, Crystal?
Yes, go on. Do I have time?
Yes, you do. I am 61 in October.
You're joking. You look fabulous, darling.
But I started sewing just after my 4th birthday.
You're joking. That's amazing. Wow.
And I started with a sampler, just a square of fabric, a rectangle fabric, and my mum drew around a jam jar 6 times, and we did embroidery stitches around it, and from then it went into school and everything like that. I've got one of my very early makes here. Do you want to see it?
Oh wow, you do. Amazing.
I have got Crystal sends a whole load of questions, so I got prepared. Right, and look at this.
Oh, wow.
Things that you do in school. It's got my maiden name on, Pew. Yeah, and it's got a little bunny in it, and it's got 2 little bunnies, and I think I must have done this probably when I was about 8.
That's really, and the fact that you've kept it as well. Where has that been kept?
I don't know. I think it's just gone down. Things do. They just appear, don't they? And inside it's got my brownie uniform.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I put my brownie uniform in it, and that's where it's got stuck. So there you go. Yes. So that's when I started sewing, and it just didn't stop. And why did I start? Probably because Mum was making dolls' clothes for me and making dresses for me, and I think I just wanted to go. And when I was 6, my dad bought my mum her first sewing machine. So she made those first clothes for me by hand.
Wow.
Not by hand. So he bought to this sewing machine. We went to John Lewis in Nottingham.
Wow.
When it was just off Parliament Street. So anybody who's watching from Nottingham will understand this. When it was Jessop's. And bought this Jones straight stitch machine. And I got propped up on it because I wanted a toy sewing machine. We buy the John Lewis one now, the little one, don't we?
Yes.
And, so I got propped up on a chair, and the pedal was put on a stool, and I just carried on. And I was using a sewing machine at 6 that went like a rocket.
Wow, amazing. So, presumably from the age of 6 to the age that you are now, you must have accumulated a whole range of skills. You must know everything about everything to do with sewing.
I'm not very good at blowing my own trumpet.
You can blow your trumpet today if you want to.
Well, I think sewing is fairly innate to me. So you get people that can just naturally, do maths, do English, speak different languages. We have a couple of things that go through in our family, and one is use of hands, and it depends how the use of hands is manifested. So my father and my brother is quite skillful. I think on one of my earlier vlogs this year, I showed how my brother was making like a corded fence using metal cord, steel cord, and he has Parkinson's. So to do that when he has Parkinson's is pretty immense. So, and my dad was very skilled as well, and my grandmother was, and it's just gone through. So this is my grandmother's tablecloth that she made in the war. Wow. It's eyeletted, it's English cutwork tablecloth. I can put another picture in if you really want it, but she made that. So that is where it comes from. So it's fairly innate. So that is the sort of thing I was surrounded by growing up. And the minute I picked up a needle, I don't think I learned anything until I did my City and Guilds.
Ah, wow. So so you've basically been brought up with you know, this sort of tactile sewing, you know, hand sewing, machine sewing.
Absolutely, yeah. Hand sewing, machine sewing, embroidery, a heck of a lot of embroidery, a heck of a lot. I mean, I have an A level in embroidery. There you go.
I didn't know you could get an A-level embroidery.
You could in 1980, Crystal. Whether you can now is another matter altogether.
Oh, that's so lovely. And you mentioned the City and Guild. What did you do there?
Teaching Guild's fashion.
Ah,
So
lovely.
we did working designs. So you make up a design board using, and you'd gain shapes and inspiration for the design features in your garments, whether you wanted a differently shaped sleeve or a different shaped placket or off-centered button placket. And that from there, that's how things move forward. But I was really, apart from that, which to me was a little bit boring, I loved the aspect of the technique and learning different ways of, you know, the different techniques, which was taking everything to a deeper level.
Amazing.
And I absolutely adored that. I had a massive file of skill, like a skill file, but unfortunately I had to, it's one of the things I did part company when I moved to this house. Because after losing my husband, I couldn't keep everything. So that was one thing that went, but it's still up there.
So do you do, presumably you can make your own patterns, you can hack any
if I want to. But there's the choice out there is so vast.
Yes.
I admire anybody that wishes to hack a pattern, but I've done that, been there. Now I just want the ease and the enjoyment of sewing, which is why now I've lived through the wilderness years of sewing. So now, I mean, people like yourself, Chris, I have no idea how old you are, but you've got a young family, a family of various ages. Pardon?
40.
40. Oh, well, you do. And to see, when I was 40, this didn't exist. You were laughing if you sewed. People thought it was silly. So, you know, it is absolutely brilliant for somebody of my age who's been passionate about sewing all through my life to be now engulfed.
Finally
engulfed, yes, finally engulfed by the sewing community. And I absolutely love it. So I admire anybody who is, you know, in a way, if you're hacking a pattern, you're having a go at drafting.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely fantastic. And YouTube and just throwing out a comment on one of the various social media groups. I mean, I'm part of the Stitched Up, Rachel at Stitched Up Sewing Group. I'm one of the moderators. So you throw a question out there and you'll get an answer from me or Rachel or one of the other moderators. And, you know, being able to share my expertise like that is just fantastic. I mean, I've said on my channel, anytime anybody's got a question, just throw it at me and I'll have a go at answering it.
Oh, no, that's great. And I think, like you said, it's just fantastic. I mean, obviously, I'm new to this community, but like you said, when you're enjoying your drink there.
Hey, last day of term, Crystal. It's not a school day tomorrow, folks.
I've lost my track. No, like I'm fairly new to this community and it's fantastic. And for you, like you say, where you started all those years ago and there was nothing and now you have all of this, how amazing. That is really, really amazing.
A really good example of an absolutely fantastic vlogger.
Yes.
A young lady that I met, a very shy young lady that I met 4 years ago at a sewing retreat. And I turned up at this sewing retreat and the tutor went, "What the heck are you doing here? You could run the course." And I went, "It's a sewing retreat. I'm on a sewing retreat." And this young lady was, "I want to sew, I want to be a vlogger." And she embraced the sewing community and the sewing community have embraced her. And 2 weeks ago, I went up to her sewing day. And I'm talking about Tamlin at Sewn on the Time. It brought that young lady out of her shell immensely. It's just an absolute joy. And, you know, my little sewing community where I am in Yorkshire, it is vibrant. And I mean, you can talk more closely about your community where you are, but up where I am, it's absolutely fantastic that there are so many people. And that is what sewing can do. It's drawn people out of their... into themselves, and it's absolutely fantastic that people can do that using this community.
But also Yorkshire, I've noticed quite a few good fabric stores are there as well. Sort of the places that I browse on and buy things from is
where do you browse?
Yorkshire.
Browse.
Say that again.
Where do you browse for fabrics in Yorkshire? Do tell me.
Well, I can't think of them now. Is Lamazi in Yorkshire? No.
No, I think Lamazi's I think it's out west somewhere.
Okay, well, okay, I'm sorry, I don't have it to hand, but I will.
The Fabrics is in North Yorkshire, that's online. And then we've got Socialising in York. And there's Fabricate over in West Yorkshire, and there's what's it called? I can't remember what it's called.
I will try and find them now, and I'll link the description below, because every time I see
there's one in Dewsbury, and there's Lucky Fashions, Fabworks, that's the one I'm thinking about. Fabworks. Yeah. I've got to go to Fabworks soon. So
oh, but just going back to your story about Tamlin, that's amazing. And so you've known her for that period of time.
I've known Tamlin for, yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly really buddy friends. I mean, I know her, and we text quite frequently. And that's what sewing can do to you. That's what it can do to you. Yeah. You know, you can be a Tamlin.
Oh, how lovely! And also,
nothing I haven't told Tamlin.
Well, Tamlin was one of the vloggers that I used to watch before I started vlogging and anything. So anyway, that's great. That's lovely, nice piece of
it's an encouraging story. That, I mean, Adele is another one.
Yes, of course, yeah, totally.
And of course we've got the Sewing Bee, which has just buzzed everybody off, hasn't it?
Indeed. How lovely.
A buzzing, fantastically buzzing everywhere, but it's just fantastic.
It is fantastic. So talking about vloggers, how did you start vlogging then? Because that's a totally different.
Obviously, Rachel is down the road from me, and I reached out to Rachel and said, I think you aren't very far from me, and it transpired I wasn't. So we went for a run, and one thing led to another, and then I had an accident. Oh. Just into the pandemic. Sam was the only person who was off work for 6 weeks in the pandemic without having COVID.
Yes.
I managed to do my leg. I have a lot of issues with my left leg. And Rachel was just an absolute star. She kept coming over a lot, and she took me to IKEA. And I said, I've always thought about vlogging. And she said, stop thinking about it and do it. So I did.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
So you literally started in the pandemic, did you?
I literally did. I sat there with my iPhone and thought, I'll give this a go. I did. That's all I did. Well, and my kids thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. But it's nice having such a good buddy down the road, like you said. I mean, Rachel,
yeah, definitely.
As well, isn't she? One of the big names out there. So
yeah, she is.
Can I ask, do you use any special equipment for your vlogging, or you kind of like?
Just here. I have it just here. Here she is. Here's my camera.
Oh, so is it like a vlogging camera, or is it just like a
vlogging camera? Yeah. I don't know if you're allowed to branding. It's a Sony.
Sony.
It's I don't even know what it is. Just put Sony vlogging camera into Amazon and you'll pop up. But it's absolutely fantastic because it actually has a holding device, and you can turn it on and off, and it's got a remote control with it, so I can hold it in my hand and I can touch with my finger, and that's what I do. But I have a wish. Go on.
Does it have a screen at the back, or is it?
Yeah. It's
perfect. That's great. No.
Absolutely. You turn it this way and you can see yourself. I mean, I don't even think I'm really sorry. Maggie's getting quite agitated. So if I turn it around now, I can do that. And if I turn that on, I'm recording you.
Oh, that's right. Maybe it's something I could save up for, because I'm just.
I have to say it's absolutely wonderful, and it has actually revolutionized my vlogging. I did have a Canon, the very popular G7X. I think I had a Mark II or a Mark III, and I got it second hand. Yes, I had a G7X, and unfortunately, it fell off the table. I was recording myself overlocking, and it went bang, 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 crash. And I kept getting comments that you're slightly out of focus, your lighting's not very good. And I thought, what more can I do? I went, I don't know why. I just suddenly thought, I actually really fancy just changing my camera. So I did.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky, and I'm unlucky that I lost my husband, but I'm in a position where as long as I'm careful, I can do little things. So I bought this camera and put out a couple of videos, and all the people that were saying I had problems went, what have you done? It's that camera. And I said, oh, yeah, so obviously I had a problem with my camera.
Yeah.
And now
not with you.
No, it wasn't me, it was the camera.
Ah, okay. Well, talking about equipment, Judi, I can see your lovely machine there. What machines do you have that you can, so you've got the lovely Bernina that looks like a beast in a good way.
That is an 880 plus.
Wow.
That is your little machine. That, and those of you that know me, people that know me through my channel and everything, or people that know me personally, will know that I'm a bit of I love tech. Absolutely. My dad was an engineer, so I've always grown up with tech. So yes, I have the Bernina, and then over there, that is my traveling Bernina.
Oh, nice. What's that?
That's my overlocker. Then I've got a cover stitch, and I've got my sewing machine that I had when I was 18.
Oh, that's nice.
Has been on my channel. If you want, I'll send a picture and you can insert it if you want.
But it's nice how you keep all these, things related to sewing from when you were younger. I think it's lovely. Talking about
go on.
Often.
Do I do what?
Do you use your cover stitch often?
Yes, I do. I do actually. I had a combination overlocker. I had a overlocker and cover stitch combined, which my husband bought me back in about 2001, and it was ace for absolutely brilliant for overlocking, but I could never get the cover stitch to work. So what we did in the end was 1 week moment. I just rang my dealer, and am I allowed to say his name?
Yes.
I use David Drummond in Edinburgh, and I would recommend him to anybody because you don't stay in business selling for sewing machines for 45 years. So he's obviously doing something right. But if you do ring him, beware, you might end up making a purchase. You have to say that I sent you. And I rang David and I said, look, I've got a huge issue. And he said, I can make it work, Judi, but it'll either be a cover stitch or an overlocker. He said, keep it as an overlocker and buy yourself a proper cover stitch. So I did. I bought the basic baby lock cover stitch.
Nice, yeah.
And I absolutely totally recommend it. Totally recommend it.
I've got the Brother overlocker cover stitch, and I've not used it. It's sat on. I've had it for like a year, and it's sat here. I'm just too scared to use it.
Why?
I don't know. The same with my overlocker. I had that for a year before I used that. But
which overlocker have you got?
The overlocker is just a singer overlocker. Nothing fancy. But I do want to start using the cover stitch. But I'm thinking, do I need 3 machines for one garment? I don't know.
If I'm doing jersey.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Very rarely do I use the sewing machine. I use the overlocker and I use cover stitch.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of it. I mean, I know you can get Mariflex flex thread. She says I've actually got some that's come today from First for Fabrics. Yeah. But I could use it, and I'm going to make the kilo wrap dress. That's one of your next questions, so I shall stop on that one. But the cover stitch is absolutely immense.
Yeah, well, I will then be messaging you once I
absolutely just fire away. I don't mind. Fire away.
Just quickly, before I go into more sewing questions, can I ask what your day job is? What keeps you busy, Judi, when you're not sewing?
I'm actually a qualified teacher.
Lovely.
But I quit teaching. I'm not frightened of saying this either. I had a pretty severe nervous breakdown 5 years ago.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's life. It's one of those things. A lot of things happened all at the same time. And I had a pretty vicious head teacher. And anybody that's out there that's a teacher will know that if you have a vicious head teacher, you might as well just give up. So I did, and I decided I was going to get off the rat run. And I sold the family home that we'd had together. I bought this lovely house I've got now. Got myself settled, and I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to live on nothing. And believe me, you can manage. You can manage. I'm very fortunate that I don't have a mortgage. So I am lucky in that respect, and I am able to do it. But no, don't pull that out, Maggie. Maggie's wanting to say hello. So I'm a teaching assistant now. I absolutely adore it.
Oh, that's nice.
Adore it. So I do a lot of I do teaching assistant work, and I also do any alterations that people have sewing wise in the village and the community, and they do keep me very busy. They give me some pretty tough things. I've got this bridesmaid's dress here that's on the go at the moment, and it's absolutely driving me mad because the fabric won't hold a crease.
I can imagine. So when do you sew then, Judi? Are you an evening sewist and a weekend sewist like most of us, or?
I'm a sewist when I've got time sewist. If I've got 5 minutes, there's always something I can pick up. I'm not a sit down and not doer. If I sit down and don't do it, it's because I'm tired and I need to stop.
Mm.
I'm very good at stopping. That's one of the things I've had to do in order to get better.
Yeah.
And I although I'm like 5 years into this, I'm a lot better than I was, but I wouldn't say I was completely mended. The surface is very, very clear, but believe me, it can crack quite easily. But if there's gaps between the cracking, so I'm very good at stopping. But when I sew, I can't stop. So when you said 10:30 tonight, I thought, yeah, that's not a problem. I'll be wide awake.
You'll be wide awake, yeah.
I'm going to work tomorrow. I will be wide awake. I'll be awake at 4 tomorrow morning. So yes.
Going back to our list, what's your favorite part of sewing?
I think my favorite part is the absolute construction. I don't think I can narrow it down after all these years. And I did think about them. And your questions, I thought, how do I narrow down which bit of sewing do I like the best?
Yeah.
I can't, because I've got to like it all in order to want to have done it for so long in my life.
Yeah, that's true. I quite like putting in what are these called, ribbed knit and neck bands. I really, really love when that sits flatly, and and top stitching that. I really love that kind of thing.
You don't top stitch when you've got your cover stitch, because just where you've got your rib band and then you've got your fabric, you can just nicely cover stitch around there.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you could.
I could try that. So what's your least favorite task? Do you have any of those, or do you like everything?
I think I have got a least favorite task, and that's tracing the pattern.
Tracing, yeah. I've stopped doing that now. I just buy PDFs and just get them printed out every time. So I just think, how much is it for a PDF? I don't know, £5. That's £5 well spent, I think.
I have to say, Crystal, I think you've actually just hit the nail on the head for something that I thought I should do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see Lorianne in 2 weeks' time, and she said, I've got a big printer, you can print out what you like. And I'm like, whoa, bring it on.
Oh, great. Yeah, just bring your chip, whatever, with all your...
Just bring my USB. I'm taking my laptop. But you know how we have Vlogmas? I'm going to do Lorianne-mas.
You're going to need to pay for extra luggage on the way back.
No. I'm not taking much with me. I'm just taking a suitcase with a 23 kilogram allowance. You ought to see what I've got to take for her.
No. So, Judi, what's your favourite make today? Do you have one that you keep going back to that you think, I love that?
Yeah. At the moment, today, it's definitely the saltwater slip dress. I mean, how cool is that pattern?
Yeah.
I've just seen yours online. I thought it says, oh, Crystal's just posted. Oh, yes, she's made a saltwater slip dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my pattern of the moment. And I've got a thought about a vlog coming up, and I'm not going to say anything just in case it doesn't happen. But I am very much into the slip dress, and I think the saltwater it's just a design that suits all shapes. It suits everybody. Yeah,
it's something that I would never go for, but I obviously done it as a part of this brand ambassador thing. But what I did find is getting the bias binding caught on both ends at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yes, because they've not told you how to do it properly. Laying it over like a sandwich like that is one way of doing it. But what you should do is to lay it flat, sew it down, flip it over, and then sew it again.
That's what I was going to do, because that's what you normally do, don't you, for bias binding? So that's what I wrote down in my...
I didn't even look at the pattern. I very rarely read the instructions.
Yeah.
What the pattern piece is, I can make it. It's only if you get a really in-depth, like the Kelly anorak. I did read the instructions for that, obviously. But yeah, there's some things I do, but things like the saltwater, no. But I was going to go on to say that the Friday Pattern Company generally, I think their patterns are incredibly well designed, because they seem to have an insight that they want to create a pattern that's going to suit everybody. Yeah. And they've very tiny niche market. Sorry, there's something come up on my screen there. Very tiny niche market, of patterns, but absolutely everybody can wear everything.
No, yeah, I do actually like my saltwater, but thank you because I was thinking of buying, you can get one of those machine feet that attach bias binding to fabric at the same time, and I thought maybe...
Yes. Now I've actually got Lorianne on the case for that, because
do you think it's worth it? I mean, how much are they? those feet?
Well, it depends on your machine.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Now, because it's mine says Bonina in front of it, it's going to be a heck of a lot more than everybody else's. So, but I think if I can get it for a reasonable price, it's one of the things I would come back with.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it could be.
Because I did see it once advertised in So Essential, and they just did it with ease, and I thought that's what I need for the salt water if I'm going to make it again.
I can't buy these things. So lots of the machines can buy these boxes of feet. I can't do that. I mean, my sewing machine feet. Got one here. Hold on. I love baskets in my sewing room to organise things. Maggie's coming to join in to see what I'm thinking, but that's a sewing machine foot for me.
Yeah.
That is a roll cover. And then I have foot plates as well.
Different ones. Nice. Yeah.
Well, that's my swing needle foot plate. So that's a 9mm swing. At the moment, I've got the straight stitch plate in because I'm sewing a polyester chiffon. And if you use a straight stitch plate, it's just got one hole in it. So for straight stitching, it doesn't pull the fabric through.
Excellent.
If you've got your width, you're going to pull your fabric through.
That's true.
If you've only got one hole, you're not going to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to look into that bias binding. Yeah.
I'd look into it, but think if it's going to cost you a lot of money, don't do it unless you're going to use it a lot. But there's more and more dresses with binding coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could be a useful tool.
Yeah. That's true. So going back to the questions, do you have like an absolute sewing fail, like something? Well, I guess you would have thrown it in the bin if it was an absolute fail. Do you have any of those?
Actually, I do have one, and I did put it on a vlog. It was the dress I made for my 50th birthday. I got this beautiful fabric from Walsons in Goldthorpe, and I made this lovely dress from it. And when I put it on, I mean, the dress looks stunning. I've still got it upstairs. It just didn't suit me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, sometimes it happens.
It does. And then sometimes you get things that you make and you think,
yeah,
I don't know. So I don't like that. I'm not going to bother with that.
Yeah, I know why it didn't suit you. It wasn't by the Friday Pattern Company.
No, it wasn't. No. No, it wasn't at all.
So let's talk about fabric. What's your favorite fabric base? What do you normally like to sew?
I actually love natural fibers, and I love cottons and silks, viscose, anything that is not man-made. So I know that viscose is actually a plant-based, but it's a man-made because it's the men of it, but it's plant-based. So is cotton.
Yes.
Well, cotton a natural fiber, and viscose is a man-made, but because you've actually had to create that thread from the wood pulp. I love viscose. I love tencel. I love lyocell. Anything like that that's natural, that's got a lovely soft feel next to it. I hate scuba and I hate polyester. I think it's just being a child of the 60s. I just don't like them.
Yeah. And with regards to prints, what sort of prints are you attracted to?
Well, now that is changing as we speak, because I made my saltwater slip dress that I wore up to Tamlin Sotoon, and it's got great big flowers on it, and I would never have thought of that. And I just thought the fabric, and I thought, oh, I like that. And then today I was just flicking through rainbow fabrics at lunchtime. I thought, oh, I like that one. I ordered 3 meters. It was an end piece. It was down as £10. Then I spun the wheel, got £5 off. So it ended up as less than a tenner with the postage. So I thought, great. And so I'm thinking I might do a Sicily slip dress in that.
I'm going to do the Sicily as well at some point.
Great big patterns at the moment. Lovely, great big splodges. I like those.
Okay.
That's the current theme anyway.
That's the current theme. Okay. So going back to patterns, do you have a favorite pattern that you keep going back to, or do you like just trying new ones all the time?
I think if I find something that I like and it works, I will do. I've done 2 Zadie jumpsuits, saltwater slip dresses, and I adore the Linden by Grainline. That is like a favourite. I like that. I've fallen in love with the Nina Lee Southbank sweater, but I've only made one so far. I've also fallen in love with the Billy jumper by Tilly and the Buttons.
Love that.
I don't know if you saw my vlog on that and the pearl, and I wasn't really a Tilly person, and I met saw the pearl and fell in love with it. So I've only made one pearl so far, and I need to make another. But I love the pearl and I love the Billy. Can I just say, excuse me in the background, my dog is whining at me because I'm not giving her any attention. Come here. Come and say hello.
Ah.
So she's just desperate. She can't understand why I'm sat here. So that I do love, but I like to try different patterns. I mean, people talk, I always think that I've got a big pattern stash, but I haven't.
What about fabric stash? How big is your fabric stash?
Oh, it's not that big. It isn't that big. I will buy fabric, but I tend to buy it in ones. So a lot of people buy 3 or 4 pieces, I'll buy one.
That's very good.
I do have fabric here because you asked about fabric.
What's the most expensive piece of fabric you've bought or you own, or
Well, that was my scissors going, a cotton reel going on the floor. The most expensive fabric I've ever sewn with was obviously my wedding dress.
Yes. Oh wow, you made your own wedding dress. It's amazing.
No. I told you I got prepared for this. I've got it here.
Your wedding dress?
No, I've got it here for you. Well, excuse me, you said questions. I told you.
That's amazing. Let me see. Wow.
Now, those of you that can remember Kate Middleton's wedding dress, she had chantilly lace over the top of an overlay dress. And it is the same as this. I'll show you down here. It's exactly the same pattern.
Really? Wow.
And it was literally, it has the overlay dress is underneath, and it's not kept in the garage. I actually keep it in the house, so it hasn't gone fusty. I don't, because it took me forever to make it, and it was a Vogue pattern, and I do have the pattern somewhere. Aww. But that was from a shop in London, and at the time in 1986, it was £25 a metre. Amazing. So it was it was £125 a bolt. Yeah, 5 meters on a bolt. Wow. And we bought 10 meters, we bought 2 bolts of it. Since then, I have bought, I do like a nice fabric, and I do have some very nice fabric in here. Just says looking over more fabric. I have an Italian linen in here that I got from Joel & Son. This is an Italian linen. How's that sound?
What colour is it? Duck egg blue.
Duck egg blue, and I really don't know what to make with it. It's really soft. Wow. It's not been washed yet. I've had it 3 or 4 years now.
Wow.
Do you want to tell you how much it was a metre?
I won't guess, but go ahead.
54.
Wow. And how many meters did you get?
2.
So yeah, that is pretty expensive.
And I do have, I have some, just to prove that you don't have to spend a fortune in Joel & Son. This is a lovely jacquard denim, which I was going to make one of the pinafores by Jennifer Lauren with.
Pippi?
No, it's one of the older ones. I can't remember which one it was now. Anyway, that's a stretch denim.
Nice.
And you can get these things for 20 quid a metre.
Nice.
Just got to hit them at the right time.
Yeah.
But Joel & Son, I don't know if you know, have the royal warrant.
Wow.
And I've been in Joel & Son when I was buying the fabric for my son's wedding, and they turned up and they bag from the Queen. And the Queen fabric samples go backwards and forwards in a little paper bag. Tossed around. So yes. So that's what I've got there. I've got more stuff down here, you know.
Amazing.
I've got all stashed up for you.
So what are you planning to make with these, or are they just, you know, you're waiting for the right?
I wanted to make a dress with the linen, but like most of us, my weight's going like this.
Moving, yeah.
£54 a metre. I'm just going to wait, and they'll come on occasion, and I'll go, because it's timeless design.
Yes.
It's a timeless colour.
Yes, yes.
I could have said Tristan's wedding, but I can't because I've got the peach colour viscose that I wore for Hannah's because she had the 2 weddings. So I'm going to make another dress for Tristan's wedding. I'm thinking I might make a jumpsuit, but I don't know which one. I'm trying to nag someone to give me a pattern. Persuade her to let me have a go at it, and it would look absolutely stunning in this fabric.
So
when
when you do so, do you put on a vlog to keep you company, or when do you watch vlogs and things?
I tend to watch vlogs when I'm having downtime.
Okay.
And sometimes I do put the vlogs on, but if I have a vlog on, I'll tend to miss the key parts of it when I'm sewing, because obviously I like to concentrate. I'm not a fast sewer. I'm a slow and methodical sewer. I'm very steady, a bit of a steady Eddie.
Yeah. And what's the last vlog you watched, if you've watched anything recently?
I think it was your interview with Adele. Or it was that, and that came, or was it Ruan's visit to Sotoon? Because obviously I went as well. So we all did it together. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And do you read blogs at all, or not really?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. What's the last blog you read?
I think I do try and watch the Jenny ones. I'm also very addicted to the Tipsy Sewers.
Oh, okay.
Come across the Tipsy Sewers?
No, I have. Yes, I have.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing. They are great running and dog walking material.
That's good. Yeah. And can I ask, what other hobbies do you have? When else can you fit? You've got a dog, so you like walking your dog. Running, I hear, is a hobby of yours.
Running is in there. I've had, after having COVID, I've got a problem with my knee, which I believe is to do with COVID, although the doctors are like a bit funny about it. And running is very painful at the moment because of this. It started at the same time as COVID. So I'm cycling a lot at the moment.
Oh, that's good. Still keeping it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm very active. I garden and I like to cook. I do like to bake, and if I have something to bake for, I absolutely love it. Hence the reason Tamlin got cupcakes for Sotoon, because
that's nice.
Bake, that's all. The only reason I took cupcakes and scones because I wanted to have a baking day. I had an excuse for the captive audience.
That's good. So that you keep busy, and it's all quite creative things that you do, isn't it? Sort of keep.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Having a small one.
So Judi, what's on your cutting table at the moment?
At the moment, I haven't got anything. I've got my Jenny Stitches project halfway done. Obviously, I've been taken over by all the events of this summer, which have been very exciting, and weddings. And I have got some lovely jersey, which came today from First for Fabrics. Look at this. Viscose jersey. Look at that.
Lovely. And what are you going to make that into?
Wrap dress. So that's the next project. The kilo without sleeves. I've seen it. I mean, I keep mentioning Tamlin. She's got a lovely kilo wrap dress which she wore for Sotoon, and I've seen that around. She's worn that quite a lot, and I thought, oh, it'd be a nice dress for traveling in.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're preparing a sort of holiday wardrobe as well, aren't you?
Holiday wardrobe, yes.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Very exciting.
And if we just finish off the interview with what does sewing mean to you?
I think sewing defines me.
That's
because
lovely.
For years and years and years, I was Judi that sewed. And I've always been the one, if there's been a problem, anything dress-wise, take it to me. I mean, my father came back from the pub one night. Oh God, I must have been about, I just turned 18, and he just bought me this sewing machine. And he said, I've worked out you can alter my trousers for me. But then it wasn't just that, it was just then he told everybody. And when my mum died and he remarried and he met this woman, he had me taking up dresses that he bought for her. And I think it just defines me as a person, and that I am the person that sews. But I don't just sew, I do embroider as well, and I do quilt.
Quilting, lovely.
I do, yeah.
What about knitting? Do you do knitting at all?
I do.
You do as well.
I like knitting in the round, and I love nothing more than a Scandinavian pattern.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Have you got anything to show us, or?
No, I didn't think you were going to ask about knitting, but
Sorry.
I've got patchwork and quilting.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see.
Right, hold on a minute. I'll just go underneath the cable. Give me a go. Oh. Oh, I'm going to fall off my chair. Oh.
She's coming back, guys. Don't worry.
I'm coming back. I'm underneath here. Right, so I have a traditional blocked quilt.
Lovely. That's huge.
It's a 3x6 or 3x5, 3x6.
Ah.
12-inch blocks, and it's 3x1, 2, 3. I think it's by 1, 2, 3, 5 by, yeah, it's 15 blocks. So there you go. Just different blocks.
Yeah.
That's your sampler quilt, which is hand quilted.
Wow.
So you've got the design through on the back or by hand.
Gorgeous. Amazing.
I many years ago, I mean, I don't know if your viewers or anybody has seen much about the quilting community, but I don't know if she's still alive or not, actually. I ought to check it. A lady called Dorothy Osley. Now, many years ago, she was the heritage officer for the Quilters Guild.
Oh.
And she is from Newcastle. And she did a lot of work on Durham whole cloth and Durham quilting and English whole cloth quilting. So we both served, this is the little thing I was going to drop in, I haven't really shared with people, is that many years ago I was the secretary of the Quilters Guild. And I used to be on the national committee. And while I was on the national committee, I made this, which is a 1 metre square whole cloth quilt.
Beautiful.
So turn it over that way around. You can see the design in pink on white.
Reverse. That is lovely.
So it's just all traditional Durham designs. And if you fold it into quarters like this, it will, the whole thing opens out.
Oh, wow. That's
whole thing of that on each quarter.
Oh.
But I decided I was going to make something a little bit more interesting. And this is, I don't think this is on YouTube yet. And this is a quilted coat, which is a reversible swing coat.
Ah. Wow.
You see?
What pattern did you use for that then?
That is the claws. Do you know, I got it. You might need to, can you edit this? I hope you can. I'll show you it.
That's fine.
It's behind me. I'm in my little bit of a sewing space with my chair. I never thought about the pattern, did I?
Sorry.
It's all right. You should be pretty impressed that I can put my hands on it. Oh, I've got a, yeah. Yeah. Hold on a minute. It is by Koos Couture. Koos van der Akker.
Wow.
Vogue.
Beauty.
It is a Vogue 2757.
Lovely.
About, I think, turn of the century, millennium.
Excellent. Lovely. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing all of that, Judi. You've prepared, like you say, you know,
I've got everything out that I thought you might need. I literally was throwing things into a pile thinking, what is she going to want me to show?
Oh, that is so, so nice. And thank you so much for also saying that, you know, anybody can contact you, message you for a question.
I think it's the same with anybody though, Crystal, isn't it? In this now new sewing community.
Indeed.
Anybody can, like, instance, this is a point in, this is exactly. It's you and me talking.
Indeed.
Message anybody, talk to anybody, because we've got a common bond already before we start.
Indeed, yeah, indeed.
It's used to springboard forward.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Judi, for joining us. And for all my viewers, please do check Judi out if you don't already. She's on Instagram, running so-and-so, and obviously her successful YouTube channel, running so-and-so as well. I will link everything down in the description below. In the meantime, thank you for watching. And Judi, thank you so much for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.